Welcome back to the channel, everybody. So we have some XRP news today, some Bitcoin news today. We have Solana news, banking news. We have a lot of stuff to get through. So let's begin here. This article is titled Locked XRP and XRPL Automated Market Maker Pools Surpasses 2.1 million. So it seems that people are liking this. Of course, listen, people want to make money in every possible way. And AMMs are going to give people some pretty good yield, I guess, depending. And that's not the only thing that's taken off. People are putting money everywhere that they can, everywhere except the banks, in order to make delicious yield, right? And says, as XRP supply shock looms. I think it would take much more than that to initiate a supply shock, but it's on its way. This happened very, very quickly. It begins as such. The XRP locked and XRPL AMM pools has surpassed 2.1 million mark, triggering speculation that the automated market maker functionality could contribute to an XRP supply shock. The XRP Ledger is evolving into a much more resilient ecosystem with the integration of impactful DeFi protocols. Particularly noteworthy is the newly implemented AMM functionality, which has garnered significant interest from network participants. Let's scroll down here and continue on. However, the XRPL AMM functionality, they go into a little bit of negativities of something of the past, but that's not important to us here. It says here, at the time of the disclosure, the network saw exactly 2.1 million XRP locked in automated market makers. This was reported by somebody named Vet on Twitter/X. It says XRP Ledger automated market maker has reached 2.1 million XRP locked liquidity, most notable over 300 pools and 179 XRP pairs. So that's pretty significant. Let's move on here. So now this next article is titled, we have another warning. All right. Now, if I use that in the title, I don't want to hear people saying there's too many warnings. Every title has been taken from these articles. They're literally saying that they're warning people. What can I do? And it makes for a very exciting title for the video as well, if I use that. But it's true. So this article is from thehill.com. This is the second warning from the IMF. But most of the people in the United States are not going to hear them, though. They're not going to hear them. Just like they don't hear when other people have warned them that something big is coming. Anyway, this article is titled, Something Will Have to Give. Will have to give, quote unquote. That's a quote from the IMF. IMF sounds alarm on U.S. debt. Before they were talking about commercial real estate. Now they're talking about the debt. So the IMF is bearish on the United States. And let me tell you something. They are one of the biggest supporters of the United States, right? So when they have to say something negative about the United States, it's serious business. But let's go on. Let's read what they have to say. The International Monetary Fund warned Tuesday that America's recent economic performance is partially the result of the country's unsustainable fiscal practices, creating risk for the global economy. That's the first time I've seen them connect that together, saying, hey, listen, United States, you're a threat to the globe. This is an interesting thing happening here. I haven't seen this before, but let's keep going. Quote, the exceptional recent performance of the United States is certainly impressive and a major driver of global growth. I had to pause. I was like, what? What do you mean? What has been exceptional and what has been impressive about what's going on? All right. But it reflects strong demand factors as well, including a fiscal stance that is out of line with long-term fiscal sustainability, unquote, the IMF wrote in its latest World Economic Outlook. Let's scroll down a little bit more. Quote, this raises short-term risks to the disinflation process, as well as longer-term fiscal and financial stability risk for the global economy, since it risks pushing up global funding costs, unquote, it continued. Quote, something will have to give, unquote. The IMF projected that the U.S. economy will grow 2.7% in 2024, an upward revision of 0.6% percentage points from January and well above the projections for its fellow advanced economies. Quote, the strong recent performance of the United States reflects robust productivity and employment growth. That's ridiculous to even say such a thing. That's ridiculous. And you know they haven't touched ground or touched grass in a long time. They get out here and talk to these people. All I'm seeing are articles and videos about how hard it is to find a job. All these ghost job postings out there. People have master's degrees and bachelor's degrees are reporting themselves that they filled out hundreds of applications and can't get a job, because that's not what the postings are about. The postings are there to make the companies look like they're productive, they're active, they're hiring, they're healthy. It's not there to actually, they're not there to actually hire people. Then there's the aspect of human resources. Human resources gets to keep their jobs, even if the company's not doing that well or as well as before, because then human resources can still have you go through all these interview processes and such, but not actually hire you. You know, they take you through what, like 3-4 interviews right now, something like that. That's what I'm reading. So it's outlandish for them to say certain things, but hey, to each his own. That's just my humble opinion. This is what I'm reading from actual articles and people that are out there. You know, it says, quote, "This calls for a cautious and gradual approach to easing by the Federal Reserve," unquote. I don't think they're going to be easing anything anytime soon. We haven't seen it yet. We've heard a lot of verbiage from other sources, other people, but the Fed, no matter what it says, it has not done what the people want it to do. And it's not going. It can't. It can't right now. It says Congress voted last spring to suspend the debt limit as part of a larger bipartisan deal aimed at reining in annual government funding with budget caps. What? They suspended the debt limit and have been running the debt up at record rates. This is unbelievable what I'm reading here. At the time, the national debt stood at roughly $31.4 trillion and has since risen by trillions more dollars in the past year, according to the Treasury Department, of course. It says in its long term, my apologies, let me click this off. There's like a pop-up ad here that just blocks half of the article. It says, in its long-term budget outlook report released earlier this year, the Congressional Budget Office estimated the national deficit would rise, quote, significantly in relation to the gross domestic product over the next 30 years, reaching 8.5% of GDP in 2054, unquote. All right, we're going to leave that one there. Let's move on to another article. So the IMF issued a warning again. There's not a lot of good going on right now in the West, unfortunately. But those who are in the know, they will understand and they have the methods to survive. Not only survive, but thrive through anything that's going here. You know? So now, this article is titled, Ripple CTO Shares Unexpected Satoshi Nakamoto Statement. What is going on, Mr. Schwartz? Go ahead and hint a little bit more that you might be one of the Satoshis. It says, Ripple CTO shares unexpected Satoshi Nakamoto statement. Ripple's Chief Technology Officer David Schwartz ignited in a heated debate by questioning the identity of Satoshi Nakamoto, the pseudonymous creator of Bitcoin. The controversy unfolded when a prominent Bitcoin community member known by the alias, quote, Ryushi, unquote, suggested that despite recent legal setbacks, Craig Wright remains the most probable candidate to Nakamoto. I disagree with that 100%. The most probable candidate probably will be David Schwartz with maybe one or two other people that are a part of a group that's named Satoshi Nakamoto. It's probably not the name of an individual. It's probably the name of a group. And I would think that there will be a leader of that group, a visionary, and that probably was David Schwartz, in my humble opinion. But just my opinion. So this assertion sparked a fiery response? A fiery response from Schwartz. Why so passionate about that? Right. It says, who dismissed it as, quote, complete nonsense, unquote. He's pretty sure that that person is not Satoshi. I mean, listen, there's a lot of different reasons that the courts exposed as to why Craig Wright is not Satoshi. I mean, at least the documents that came out from the courts. But let's continue on. It says, he highlighted Wright's failure to provide conclusive evidence of his identity as Nakamoto during the trial, emphasizing that other individuals, including himself, had no such motive to falsely claim authorship of Bitcoin. It says, interestingly, Schwartz's rebuttal reignited speculation surrounding his own potential connection to Nakamoto, citing his extensive background in cryptography dating back to the early days of the field. Some theorists have posited him as a plausible candidate for Nakamoto's identity. Yeah, I believe that as well. You know, there are others but I think Schwartz is one of them. One of them. Schwartz's involvement in pioneering patents related to distributed ledger technology further fueled speculation. All right, so now let's move on to another article here. I'm trying to get in as many as I can today. I have a lot here. There's a lot of potent ones. I don't want to miss one of them. So now we have some big news coming out of the UK. This article is titled UK to propose clearer crypto regulations by July. So add that to your calendar. We'll see if they stick to their word. We know they can change things. The UK's economic secretary to the Treasury, Bim Afolami, said the government's priority is improving the payments landscape and providing regulatory clarity for digital assets and blockchain. The United Kingdom Treasury intends to present a regulatory framework for crypto assets and stablecoins by July, with the aim of encouraging local innovation in digital assets and blockchain technology. The UK's economic secretary to the Treasury, Bim Afolami, revealed the government's ongoing drive to lay the groundwork for revamping the country's payments landscape while speaking at the Innovate Finance Global Summit in 2024. It says alongside the UK's focus on fiat payment innovation, Al-Falami highlighted the importance of crypto regulations to remain globally competitive. That's key. I want you to just remember that. Importance of crypto regulations to remain globally competitive. They can't compete without green lighting crypto, green lighting blockchain. It brings so much to the table, so much money. It speeds things up. Their systems are congealing with it. So then they have to sort of negate that aspect of hypocrisy when the public looks and says, hey, wait a minute. Isn't United Kingdom heavily working with Quant and R3 and a lot of other companies, right? Europe, same thing. Stellar's heavy in Europe. Quant is heavy in Europe. A lot of other companies that we don't cover are heavy in Europe as well. And so I would think the public will begin to ask at some point the question of, wait, why do you get to use this, but we don't? It's good for you, but it's not good for us, which is nothing new for governmental regulatory agencies. But at the same time, I don't think they want to deal with that. It's time to let the dog off the leash and unleash crypto. Hence why you see all the different ETF talks. You got Bitcoin ETFs. You have the Ethereum ETF now in Hong Kong, which they said is going to probably roll out April the 30th, something like that, or the Bitcoin and ETFs in Hong Kong about April 30th. Once again, they switch dates a lot. So that's, you never know if they're actually going to keep their word or not, but that's what they say. But I think that's a sign that, yes, they're about to let the dog off the leash, for lack of a better word, and unleash crypto. It says, quote, speaking of true change, I know that the cornerstone of our position as a world leader in fintech is the delivery of our regulatory regime for crypto assets and stablecoins. Al-Falami further highlighted the British government's perspective on regulations, which aims to find the right balance between allowing firms to innovate while protecting consumers. Hey, while you're at it, protect them from your banks. While you're at it, protect them from your legacy financial system, which oppresses them and robs them blind. It gives them the lowest yield possible while their institutions make the most yield possible. The customers make the lowest yield possible from savings accounts, things like that. Globally, they should be making much more. So make sure you get on that as well. I'm just saying. So now let's move on here. Right? Listen, I always have to hold the fire to the legacy system. I am not a friend to the legacy system at all. Not at all. That's not going to happen. Same way I don't play with the bank coins at all. That's not going to happen. I take some things very, very seriously. So now, anyway, we have a Bitcoin article. We've gotten to the Bitcoin news now. So this article is titled, Analyst Willie Woo says Bitcoin as a $1 trillion asset is here to stay. Says liquidation of Bitcoin bears is next. I like when Willie Woo speaks. He always has something good to say. Very insightful. But let's hear what Mr. Wu has to say. Says a widely followed on-chain analyst thinks that Bitcoin bears are about to get wiped out following last week's crypto correction. Analyst Willie Woo tells his 1.1 million followers on the social media platform X that the most recent Bitcoin retracement to $60,000 flushed out leveraged longs. Says Wu says he doesn't see Bitcoin going down in a straight line, as he believes that Bitcoin bulls will defend the, quote, formidable, unquote, short-term holder at $59,000. Hey, did you all see that last members only video that I put up? Man, there is a bank coin that is doing something very interesting. So I'll leave it at that. But check out that last members only video in case you didn't see it. OK, make sure you are getting your content. All right. So according to the analysts, the odds are higher that Bitcoin will bounce and liquidate traders who shorted at around $70,000. You know why it triggered that memory about the members only section? Because that particular bank coin, I always think about it when I read about Bitcoin. There's a reason for that. You'll understand when you see it. All right. Anyway, it says, quote, we flushed out long leverage down to $60,000 to liquidate lower. Price would have broken the formidable $59,000 STH support, a strong sign of a bear market. More likely short liquidations to $71,000 to $75,000 is next. Short-term price is a walk of liquidations, unquote. All right. So now let's move on to here. We're doing pretty good. We're through like half the articles. I know like we already did a lot, but we have some more to go. We're doing well. I'm gonna get you all of this news. You know, when I'm said and done on YouTube, I'll know I gave my 100% best when I'm done on YouTube. You know, when I decide to, you know, stop the channel, I know that I gave 100% everything I could. I didn't leave anything on the table, and I did it my way. You got to be, in the end, you have to be content whenever that comes, whether it's YouTube, whether it's life. I think about everything the same way. I wake up in the morning. I say, first of all, I give thanks that I woke up. Second of all, I say to myself, I want to give everything I have today and be the best that I can and improve. I want to improve. I want to be better than yesterday. My father used to always say something to me, and a lot of things he says to me, I'll never forget. It was like he was writing a book of laws or guidance without actually writing it. It was word of mouth, but he would repeat things over and over to me every once in a while. And he used to say a few things. He used to say, son, nothing beats a try. Nothing beats a try. And he used to say, give everything that you can. Don't let anything get the best of you. I think about that all the time. Giving the best of me every single day. And last but certainly not least, and this is the one I was trying to remember, the exact verbiage he used to say. He used to say, son, don't be like me. Be better than me. And, you know, when you're younger, you don't think much of it. And now that I'm older, I understand why he wanted that. It didn't really matter back then if I understood it or not, because once my father said something, it was law to me. My father, my mother, the same, as far as how serious I take what they say. If my mother or father say something to me, it's law, because I trust them 100%. I know they're going to guide me right. I know what they sacrifice for me. That's just how I feel. I mean, I'm not asking anybody else to feel the same about their parents. I don't know your parents. But so when he said, don't be like me, be better than me, I extrapolate that to everything now. Now it's not about being better than him. Like he's up on this mountain to me. I'm not worried about that. Surpassing my father. That's for someone else to decide. It's like life. If I do well, it's not for me to decide if what I'm doing affects other people. That's for them to decide. I know what I did. I know how I feel about what I did, but that's up to them to decide if they feel like I did a good job or not. It's not for me to tell them I'm the best, tell them I'm doing great, you know. But so for me internally, my focus is now, can I be better than I was yesterday? And every single day, let me tell you something, folks. It's a battle every day. It's a battle. Sometimes I'm better than I was the day before, 2 days, 3 days in a row. And it'll be that one time. And I'm just like, man, I don't feel like I was better than the day before. I don't. I didn't do enough. I made a mistake, maybe. Yeah, I think about that. And It fires me up. It fires me up. It definitely gives me pause to think. And I start thinking to myself, what can I do differently? And it's one thing to think about what you can do differently to improve. And it's a completely different thing when you have to actuate on it, put it to action. That's the hardest part, putting things to action to become better. You can always become better. Always. Don't let this world trick you and fool you and thinking you have to stay the same. You don't. There's unlimited possibilities for improvement, and nobody can stop you. Don't let anybody stop you. I don't care who they are. Because I know how this goes. There's always those people out there going to try to stop you, hate on you. Man, you got to block them out. You got to block them out or get away from them. And you improve yourself. And no, there's no limitation. So, yeah, that's something that's always on my mind. And I hope that I never get to the point where I feel that there's no improvement. I don't like stagnation. I don't ever want to be stagnant. I hope I'm forever learning, forever growing, right up to the very end. So now let's move on here. So now we have this article here. This article is titled "Six-Figure Bitcoin Price Record in Play After Flash Crash," analyst says. So it goes as such. Despite a recent Bitcoin price dip, a major institutional update in Asia gives reason to believe in a historic bull run by year's end. Despite a price crash that pushed Bitcoin below $61,000 this weekend, analysts remain optimistic that the asset can more than double its record high by the end of the year. Quote, "If you look at the daily chart, we're simply ranging effectively between $74,000 high and these lows around $60,700, unquote. Crypto analyst Scott Melker reported in the video above. Quote, "There's always panic at the bottom of the range, but inevitably it tends to be a good place to buy Bitcoin before the consolidation ends and price heads back up," unquote. Now, this here, I think this stands more for the institutions right now. I don't think that retail, because they're in such a position, I'm trying to think of the proper words, but retail is hurting. They're hurting. Some of them may not have the money to buy back in. They had to sell. It's hard times right now. People have mortgages to pay, rent to pay, at least in the West. I don't know about everywhere else in the world, but in the West, people are suffering badly. And it's a silent depression right now, in my humble opinion. So I don't think retail is going to be doing this en masse. And I think I think that's what institutions were waiting for retail to not be able to move as freely as they would want to. And so I think this is more for institutions. They will be the ones buying at the bottom and riding that wave up. Their friends, their other institutions that did the interviews the last 2 weeks talking about how they wanted to get into Bitcoin, but they sat out. They're the ones who will buy here, and it will drive that price up. And it's just my hope that there's enough retail involved so that the regular people can continue to win. I root for the regular people, however you want to take that. And I want the regular people to win. Regular fathers, mothers, sons, daughters. You're in college. You have your own small business. I want them to win. And it's crazy because it seems like the whole world is against them. I don't know, folks. Well, I know, but you know what I mean. It's crazy. It's crazy out here. It says Melker pointed to venture capitalist Tim Draper's $250,000 Bitcoin price prediction, which he said was, quote, "looking pretty good," unquote, in recent days. I'm sticking to 100,000. My low numbers, 80,000 to 85,000. My high number, 100,000. I hope it goes beyond that. I do hope it goes beyond that, but I'm sticking to it. 100,000. I've been saying it all year. I think I've been saying it since last December. I'm sticking with it. It says, I haven't seen anything to change my mind yet. It says, quote, "Can Bitcoin really reach 250,000 by the end of 2024? Unquote. Melker asked, quote, "Only time will tell, but I'm in the Tim Draper camp that eventually we get there." All right. So now let's move on here. We have another one. Oh, so I actually have the article on Hong Kong's Bitcoin ETFs. So now, this article is titled Hong Kong Bitcoin ETFs to trade by April the 30th. Reports Hong Kong hotly anticipated spot Bitcoin ETFs are expected to launch by end of April, potentially yielding up to $25 billion in capital inflows, according to industry analysts. It says Hong Kong's highly anticipated spot Bitcoin exchange traded funds are slated to launch by the end of April, according to various industry sources. Hey, listen, is there anybody out there that watches the channel that's actually from China, or has traveled to China? I just want to know, like, I see these articles and videos on these places, and they look absolutely beautiful, like Chongqing, right? Now, it's colorful. It looks insanely amazing. Like, does it really look like that in person? That's what I want to know. Like, what's your experience? What are the most beautiful places to travel to in China, in your humble opinion? If you feel like sharing, you just put that in the comment section. I see a lot of comments. I can't see everything. And that's another thing. Let me say this. There's been something wrong with the YouTube comment section. I'm not the only one. I've seen it on a lot of report websites. There's been something wrong with YouTube comment sections for like the last 2 to 3 weeks. All right. So some comments don't show up. Sometimes I've commented to people, right? And then somehow my comment disappears. It's mind blowing, folks. It's mind blowing. It's my channel, but YouTube is making my comment disappear. What? And then sometimes I know it's my people commenting, but some of my maybe my members only people, subscribers commenting, and I'll see that it'll say new comment, right? I go in there, I click on the comment section to see what the comment is. There's nothing there. Like, what? So anyway, I'm hoping that they fix it soon. Hey, you know what? You want to be honest? It's the least of YouTube's glitches. YouTube glitches a lot in a lot of different ways. So that's the least that I've experienced. So I guess I can't complain too much, right? But I just want to put that out there so you know what's going on with the comment section. All right. There's been some problems. Hopefully they'll fix it soon. So to continue on, it says this: the Hong Kong Securities and Futures Commission recently approved several fund managers to offer spot Bitcoin ETFs. Following this, OSL, a crypto infrastructure provider for some approved fund managers, stated that the Bitcoin ETFs are aiming to go live as early as late April. Oh, that threw me off when they said early as late. Threw me off. As early as late April. All right, so we got some good things going on with Bitcoin. Let's move on here to another article. All right, so now we're going to get to a little bit of, I believe this is Solana news, I believe. So this article is titled, Former Goldman Sachs Executive Says 80% of his crypto portfolio is allocated to one Ethereum rival. You know who that is. It's Solana, the big dog on the block, Solana. Macro guru and ex-Goldman Sachs executive Raoul Pal is revealing that he's heavily invested in one Ethereum competitor. Pal says in an appearance to the Bankless YouTube channel that native token, that the native token of the Layer 1 blockchain Solana comprises about 4/5 of his crypto holdings, while the rest is in meme coins. Whoa, really, Raoul? Mr. Powell, the rest is in meme coins. What meme coins are? I'm just asking, what meme coins are you in? Like, you holding? Or you just in and out? I'm assuming you're in and out. There's no, I refuse to believe you're just holding some meme coins. That's a dangerous game, sir. But no, and I know you don't deal with your assets yourself. There's no way you do. No way. Someone else is doing it for you and you're in and out. That's what I believe, my humble opinion. But he says he has meme coins, digital collectibles, and in digital assets focused investment vehicle. You know, listen, all the meme coin people I know, I've seen it, I've heard. There's tons. Some people are making tons and tons of capital from meme coins, but there's a flip side to that. There's a dark side to that because some people lose tons and tons of money in meme coins. So there's a balance there. I'm privy to both sides. All right. All right. It says, quote, I am 80% sold. All of my ETH is now NFTs. I have been buying high-end art NFTs. I told you, look, he's exposing it. I said this 2 years ago, and I've been saying it ever since. I know it because, listen, I've dealt with the fine art industry for a long time. I know what they needed. I know what they wanted. And what was going on with NFTs before with the art, that was fun. But in my humble opinion, it can't compete with the fine art industry. He says he's been buying high-end art NFTs. And yes, because if you see how much the other stuff, Colorful Monkeys, sold for, can you imagine high-end art NFTs? They're going to sell for a ton when the time is right. My apologies. I almost choked off some saliva. He says, and I have 1% in ignorant things. He says some other stuff. I'm not going to read it expletive. I have some ignorant things, and then he goes into some meme coins. So he actually names the meme coins that he has. I'm not going to name them here because I don't want to be promoting those types of things or seem like I am. Right? It says, on what convinced him to bet heavily on Solana, the former Goldman Sachs executive says, quote, the chart was a standout in 2022 was Solana and the Ethereum chart. And that was the chart that got me buying Solana and then going all in. I don't believe that. I don't believe it at all. No, sir. There's probably some charts in there, but you know about the partnerships. You know about all the institutions that were praising Solana, just like I saw. If that was in the public articles, if that, I know you got that in a private a private briefing. I know you did way before we did. You got that in a private briefing that there's a lot of companies that are looking to use Solana in the future. Now, that's not a guarantee, but that's a heck of a setup. And I know they told you that, whoever your advisors are. And that's probably why, just my humble opinion, that's probably why you're super bullish on Solana. You have to have something way more solid than charts. How many people read the charts every day? That's what they do. And they say, oh, it's going here, going there. It never does what those charts are saying. And look, charts have their place. Don't get me wrong. But I'm just saying, there has to be something much more solid that made you bullish on Solana. And I think that's what it probably was. So now let's move on here to this article. We have actually, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 articles left. I'm just going to choose the ones I believe are most potent. Let's see. Let's go here with some tokenized deposit news. Why not? I had to skip 2 bank news articles, but maybe I'll post those in the members only section. So now this article is titled Major British Banks Testing Tokenized Deposits. Once again, who is heavy in that region? Quant. Quant has been absolutely dominating. What's the circulating supply of Quant? What is it? 14 million, 15, something like that. Let's put it this way. It has a lower circulating supply than Bitcoin and is not even mainstream yet. It's not even promoted, barely spoken about. What happens when these institutions start using it and it gains a little bit of traction? Then the retail comes in because this FOMO kicks off. What happens to the price then? I'm just saying, I'm just asking questions. I'm going to take you way back. I'm going to take you way back to the 90s with this phrase. I'm super duper bullish. Remember that super duper? I'm super duper bullish on Quant. And Quant is one of those things I will never sell, but that is such a long hold for me. Like I'm holding that way beyond diamond hands. It's just me. If I was the last person holding Quant, I would still hold it. Simple as that. Like if everybody else sold and I hadn't seen those catalysts come to fruition is what I'm saying, I'd still hold. I don't care what anybody else does. I know what I know. It's simple. That's how I move. And Quant is one of those things. But anyway, let's read this article here. It says, meanwhile, it remains unclear if the digital pound will be launched. British banking giants of the likes of Barclays have taken part in a trial that centered around testing tokenized deposits, according to a recent report by Bloomberg. The trial, which started this February, also involved MasterCard and Visa. Wait a minute. Once again, go watch that members only video. They're touching on some of that. Watch that. It says members only on it. Watch that members only video. I'm telling you, something big is coming. I could be wrong. But you read the information for yourself. It says it will take a while before this technology can be used commercially. You sure about that? Because things have been moving at a lightning pace this last 2 years. The experiment is expected to run for up to 3 years. The first results of the ongoing trial will be revealed in the late summer. No, they're going to push much harder than that. They always say 3 years, 3 years, 3 years. And yet everything's been moving much faster than that. So now let's move on here. We're going to skip some more bank news. Banks are in big trouble, but you already know that, right? All right. So now let's end off here. We're going to end off with a little bit of gold news. Okay. I have 4 other articles, but I looked at the titles, and you know what, man, now that we're so far into the video, those titles are boring me, and I don't like to be bored, right? So we're going to end off with something exciting. Gold. Gold always excites me. Gold ascends, but remains shy of testing $2,400 amid hawkish Fed remarks. It says here, gold prices edged higher late in Tuesday's North American session, gaining 0.22% following a hawkish tilt by Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell. Economic data from the United States was mixed through Monday's retail sales report, and Powell's remarks kept U.S. Treasury yields higher, capping the yellow metals advance. It says XAU USD trades at $2,388 at the time of this article. I don't know what it is right now. It says after hitting a daily low of $2,363, gold is looking good. It says risk appetite has deteriorated amid the heightened tensions in certain regions. Let's scroll down, see if they have a little bit more here. Given the backdrop, gold is set to continue advancing, if not because Fed Chair Jerome Powell said the U.S. economy has performed quite strongly. They always flabbergast me when they say things like that, while acknowledging that the recent data shows a lack of further progress on inflation, which means inflation went back up. Following those remarks, traders reduced expectations for the Federal Reserve to cut rates more than once this year. According to Reuters, the CME FedWatch tools shows the first rate cut could happen in September, with odds for a quarter of a percentage point standing at 71.38%. All right, so now let's just make sure we want to end there. We got some debt information, some banking news. All right, so now that you have that information, what are you going to do with it? Listen, I want to say this in closing. I hope that you all are in good health. We can always work to be healthier. And health is not just a physical thing, but it's also a mental thing. So, I hope that you are drinking your water, taking your vitamins, things of that nature. I'm not a doctor. This is not advice, but, I hope you're doing well with the nutrients that you need. But also, you have to have your mental peace, mental nutrients. Feed the mind, but also let the mind have peace. Have that balance. We all must have that balance. I work on it every single day. I wouldn't talk about anything that I don't actually do. And it takes hard work to maintain that balance, to know when enough is enough and you fed the mind enough, you worked it enough. Let the mind have some joy. Give it some joy. Give it some peace, some time. Make some time to enjoy the silence and have that balance so that the stress, whatever it may be, high or low, I don't know what you may have, but so that the stress can lessen. And be kind to yourself. And listen, if no one else tells you, Alpha Neem hopes that you are doing well. I hope that you are healthy. I hope that you live long and you are prosperous. And I hope that people are giving you love because you deserve it. You deserve a good life. You deserve love. All right. You deserve the best of the best. That's why you're here. If everything is cause and effect and everything lined up perfectly as far as cause and effect for countless aeons of time, like one domino hitting another, all the way leading up to some cause that led to you as an effect being here now. You understand? So you are meant to be here, in my humble opinion, meant to be here based on cause and effect. I'm keeping it simple. And so, by being here, you deserve the best. But it starts with you giving yourself the best. So be well, everyone. And just know if no one else tells you, I'll tell you. Alpha Neem loves you. Right? All right. If no one else give you a hug, give yourself a hug. Show yourself some love. And make sure if you show others anything, do the hard thing, not the easy thing. Show kindness. It's something that's rare in the world. So now that you have that information, all you beautiful people, all you wise ones, all you handsome people, all you wise beings out there, now that you have that information, what are you going to do with it? I know what I'm going to do with it. So until next time, everybody, let's get to the money.